Hey gang, this is another edition of The Letter and it's all about the gift that keeps on giving. This is James Sinclair Letter number 13. Don't forget, if you want to receive the letters as they come out, you can subscribe to them on my website, jamessinclair.net. This letter is about 6 months old. The new ones come out 7 a.m. every Monday morning. So if you want to get them, subscribe at jamessinclair.net and you get the written version in your inbox for free. Various shenanigans happened this week, leaving me sport for choice on what to write. I started writing the letter on Tuesday with a good idea to share, but like an unexpected lightning strike, more urgent matters forced me to stop and start over. See, that's the trouble with my brain. So many memories and points of order flit through my mind every single day. I was torn between three really good subjects. Here are the three main highlights that I wanted to share. I was listening to a podcast about Harvard business research. There was a topic on how to get engaged employees that lead directly to positive EBITDA. It was insightful, it was brilliant, and I agreed with it, and I can't wait to share all of that with you one day. Number 2 was a piece on the value of planting trees that you might not benefit from. Individuals who practice this are truly remarkable and contribute positively to our planet, not just by planting the trees, but they're good thought people. And if you ever meet such people, stick close to them. They'll make you a better person. And number 3 is giving is the beginning of receiving. Giving is the beginning of receiving. What a fantastic collection of words, especially when it's done without expecting anything in return. If you discover those people, hug them, keep them close to you too. I've decided to go with that latter point, but do not worry, all of those other points will make an appearance in future videos and indeed in this newsletter. To be honest, I had more points that I could share with you, but every week comes around and I've got more to talk with you. And I was chatting with JB earlier in the week about other ideas. He's my co-host on the business broadcast, also a part-time fashion model that keeps TK Maxx running. And if you haven't seen his amazing outfits, go and check other videos. He's fiercely proud of his shopping bargains, wearing them not only to acknowledge middle age, but also to be proud of it, knowing that even Martin Lewis would approve of his savings. Right, let's get back to the point of this letter. Let's explore the magic of thoughtful gifting within the realms of entrepreneurship. Now, this all came about during a recent consultancy session that I had with a delightful individual who is a regular content consumer of the James Sinclair playbook. I learned that he is well acquainted with my interests in good business books, podcasts, cooking, and ice cream, particularly Rossi Ice Cream. He was aware of all of this. If regular readers recall, I recommended my top 8 business books in a previous letter. If you missed it, you can access past letters on my website under business blog at jamessinclair.net. One of my top recommendations was Felix Dennis, How to Get Rich. I mean, this is a fantastic book for entrepreneurs and business owners, and I can't imagine just how much of a remarkable person Felix must have been. And this client, James, who came to see me, was more of a private investigator of me. He knew absolutely everything, dressed in a smart, crisp white shirt and a modern jacket. He came prepared with energy, pizzazz, and packages and gifts, including one that was an oat latte. He'd made this himself from his own factory in his own business called Nutriseed, which he built into a multi-million-pound revenue in just 4 short years. I mean, wow, not many people do that. The drink he offered me was delightful, and I have to admit, my first experience of an alternative milk choice drink. See, nowadays there are more milk options available than we have bank holidays. Nothing gives me more anxiety other than understanding why, out of nowhere, we have so many milk complications in 2024. How did people cope pre-millennia with just one milk choice? It gets right on my goat, and I don't even like Billy Goat's milk either. Let's get back to James. As he came into my office and we sat down, I was getting ready to give him all of my wits and wisdom on business and entrepreneurship. But before I could utter a word, he said, "James, I know of your admiration for Felix Dennis. I met him while working near his office back in the early 2000s. Well, if one gift was good enough, I was intrigued by what was going to come next. I knew a captivating tale was about to unfold on one of my heroes. I relish a good story. And the other James, the one that was coming in to see me, said he even signed one of his books for me. I went, wow, you've got a signed Felix Dennis book? Then, as I was on the edge of my seat, James produced this book. My eyes alight. He handed it to me. It was a signed copy of one of Felix's books. He'd penned several, and I was in awe of this flamboyant signature. Then came the crescendo. He said, "James, this is for you as a token of appreciation for all of your content and all the help you've given me in business." I was astonished. As I collected my thoughts, he continued, "I know for your passion for cooking." I went, "Yeah, I love cooking." He said, "Have you heard of hex-clad frying pans?" I was familiar with them, often described as the Rolls Royce of frying pans. He said, "This is for you to enhance your cooking skills." I thought, wow, what a gesture. James mentioned that these gifts were expressions of gratitude for the substantial savings he has accrued through my contacts and advice. It was truly special, far surpassing the usual wines or boxes of chocolates. Now, as thoughtful as they are, but everyone does that and it's boring. I then shared my direct email and phone number with James, a practice I typically avoid. James now has my direct contact. He's an exceptional entrepreneur, but more importantly, a visionary thinker. He could have handed me a £5,000 cheque that day, which I would have forgotten. But the way he made me feel will stay with me always. Gifting your admirers, sending meaningful gifts. I'm telling you now, it truly works. People appreciate it, but they adore it when you go that extra mile and truly understand what they value. Since I started producing content, I've received numerous gifts, predominantly chocolates and wines. However, being teetotal and not a fan of fancy chocolates, I prefer Yorkshire Gold tea and some Cadbury's chocolate fingers over truffled rose-scented chocolates. Honestly, Ponzi chocolates are just not for me. If you aim to build lasting relationships, a little research can go a long way. Every Tom, Dick and Harry attempts to secure a spot on my podcast nowadays, eagerly scouring the internet for my direct contact details. Some succeed, sending messages claiming why they and their expertise should be featured on my show, asserting to be avid fans. However, it's apparent that they haven't once listened to the show and just want to flirt with our ever-increasing audience and steal you for their customer. I respond succinctly, finding this practice rather irksome. You see, my favourite gifts are a box of tea, some children's biscuits and a frying pan, and in this case, a book. I would have James on my podcast. In fact, I'd put him front of the queue. If you seek to wield influence or attract customers, the art of thoughtful gifting holds tremendous power. However, in a world of ordinary gestures, be extraordinary. Do not send fancy chocolates, hampers of wine. Instead, strive for something unique. Take the time to understand the recipient's preferences. It can be life-changing and profoundly impactful. Remember, us humans work like this. We always forget the cost, but we never forget how they made us feel. I've long contemplated the key traits that define successful individuals in the realms of entrepreneurship and business. As I mingle with successful people, a common thread begins to emerge. Hunger is the primary trait that underscores all others. When driven by a relentless pursuit of success, one can achieve their goal to some extent. However, what expedites this journey and amplifies success is access. Access to rare and protected forms of leverage, including connections, talent, capital, locations, engaged audience, proficiency in marketing and sales, establishment, a strategic location, good demographics, branding, intellectual property, and aesthetic appeal. Let's face it, individuals like Taylor Swift and Brad Pitt benefit from this, and launching a restaurant in Lake Como can undoubtedly enhance one's prospects. The encouraging news is that a significant portion of wealth is generated within just one generation, but often dissipates by the third generation. Building connections or gaining access to them is a skill set of the master entrepreneur. A simple gift of a frying pan and a signed book granted James access to my network and me. A key reminder, if you find yourself at a standstill, lacking the progress you desire, remember this, you're not a tree, you can move. Until next week, to your continued success, I'm James. P.S. I heard this quote this week and it's fast becoming one of my favourite. Just have a little think about this collection of words. You deliver your personality in private, so it serves you well in public. See you in the next one. Well, there you go, guys. I mean, that was one of my longer letters, and I do like putting these thoughts and ideas onto paper. And I do urge you to go and get them when they come out every Monday morning, and then get reminded of them 6 months later. There's some valuable lessons here in this one. When you think about that little story of where James found out that I loved Felix Dennis, that I found out that I loved cooking. And every time I use that frying pan at home, every time I see that signed book, I'm thinking of James and his amazing business, NutriSeed. Finding ways to get access to people, not by just sliding into their direct messages or giving them annoying calls, putting some thought into the thing can really be very powerful. And I love the little thing about the trees as well, gang. You know, planting trees that you will not get the benefit from is just the best way to live your life. You know, think about the next generation, think about long term. It's one of the best things entrepreneurs have over governments, for example. You know, governments do things, you know, that they're so short-termist. And that's one of the great things about our own lives. We can give ourselves the ability to think long-term. You know, you want to be an oak tree. You know, you want to be strong and last, generational. And hopefully my videos and content help you in your quest for entrepreneurship success. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.